Hey everyone, just wanted to share a thought in audio form today, and this ties back to yesterday's post about the OODA Loop, where we said Orient shapes everything, but Orient is shaped by what we already believe. But before we go any further, let's hit on a point for some of the people who may not have heard of the OODA Loop before. The OODA Loop is simply just a framework for decision making, and it was created by Colonel John Boyd. Stands for OODA Loop: observe, orient, decide, and act. And it's a loop. So orient being the most important one. And if you get the orient one wrong, everything forward of that will be wrong also. So we see something, we observe it, we try to understand what it means. That's orient. And then we decide what we're going to do, and then we act on that decision. Well, if we get the orient part wrong, then our decision is probably going to be wrong, and our action is probably going to be wrong. And many times there's consequences when that happens. So let's walk through this part of the OODA Loop. Let's walk through the orient part, because it's really a paradox. The OODA Loop is automatically, the moment you notice something, a sound, a movement, a person approaching you, the loop kicks in all by itself. So your brain starts observing and then deciding what's happening and deciding what to do, and then acting without you having to consciously start the OODA Loop. It just happens. It's part of how we think, the psychology of the human behavior and decisions. So the OODA Loop stage, that automatic first one, it's fueled by your background, your experiences, your training, whether your training was good or bad, or your experiences were good or bad, your gut feelings, basically everything, all your mental habits that you've built up over your lifetime. So most days that's good, because it helps us to make decisions fast. It keeps us from having to overanalyze every little thing. But here's what most people don't think about. That automatic interpretation might not match what's actually happening. It might not match reality on the ground. So our first loop can lock us into what we expect instead of what's real. And that's where bias slips in, and we react to the story in our head, but not really what's in front of us. So how do we get past this? Well, it's really not that complicated. It's just a double OODA loop. Actually, it's a continuous OODA loop. Boyd called it the dialectic engine. The first loop gives you that instant meaning from your past experiences and training and everything else in your life, right or wrong. But the second loop is intentional, and the following loops are intentional. And that's where you mentally hit the pause button. And you're just taking a quick moment to check yourself and ask yourself, is my interpretation accurate? Is it accurate right now based on what's happening on the ground? Does what I think is actually happening line up with the facts? So the second loop is how we break out of that trap of old beliefs shaping new situations. It's how we update reality based on what's real, not what's familiar. So the good news is it's really not that complicated. I'm going to give you 3 simple steps that you can use. Number 1, notice anything that doesn't fit what you expected. When something feels off or looks off or doesn't fit, that mismatch is often your first clue that your mental model of what's happening is outdated. And number 2 is to force an alternate explanation. Don't settle for the first story your brain hands out to you. Ask yourself, what else could this be? Give yourself more than one possibility, and that keeps you flexible and prevents you from getting locked into assumptions. So when I say that, context and relevance is key. And then number 3, and this is probably the hardest one to do, look for evidence that could prove you wrong. This is a tough one. Instead of hunting for proof that your assumptions are correct, look for anything that challenges them. So testing your interpretation gets you closer to the truth than defending it. And when you use these 3 habits, you're not just reacting, you're updating. Kind of brings me back to a thought of a friend of mine, Paul Smith. I worked with him at the Law Enforcement Academy. My mentor, at one time my supervisor and friend, but Paul used to always play devil's advocate with me. And I didn't always like it at the time. And he would always say, Clark, I'm playing devil's advocate. We got to challenge our assumptions to make sure we're making the right decisions here. And you know what? He was absolutely right. So that's the sweet spot. Speed from the first loop, but accuracy from the following loops. And that's true situational awareness, not just noticing things, but interpreting them correctly, making decisions based on what's real, not what you assume. So, hey, thanks for listening. Stay aware and stay safe. And I look forward to hearing your comments on the whole process of the OODA Loop.